Rise of the Dinks. That's dual income, no kids. So the TikTok couple's bragging about the time and cash saved from being intentionally child free. So I thought this would be a pretty interesting article. It was only recently that family bloggers took over our social media channels, sharing snippets of their idyllic lives raising children and embracing parenthood. And while mummy bloggers are still popular, which by the way, all these like people who share like their intimate moments with their family and kids, to me seems kind of weird. So there's a new trend taking over, the DINKS. What a name. The acronym stands for dual income, no kids, and increasingly young couples are identifying as part of the growing community, boasting online about their luxury lives as a result. So instead of spending their money on children, couples are sharing all the perks of putting off starting families or foregoing it altogether. They spend lazy Sunday mornings in bed, brunching and doing couples workouts. They dine out at fancy restaurants and spend money on candy they don't have to share with little ones. Well, that's kind of like a weird statement. Okay. So videos on the TikTok under the Dink hashtag have amassed 164 million views with thousands of comments from envious fans. Speaking with Mail Online, Dink creator Molly said that while she and her partner don't plan to stay childless forever, they're embracing this chapter of their lives. Our days are literally whatever we want it to look like, which is what we love so much and make the most of being dinks. If we want to spontaneously go out or stay away, we can, or if we just want to relax and do nothing all day, just chilling at home, we can. They probably see an animal. Okay, so the thing is, there's nothing wrong with them wanting to go down this path of basically pretty much more financial freedom by not necessarily having kids, or at least not making kids a priority. Like, I can understand that. But at the same time, if you go into basically a relationship with someone for like the long term, that should probably be part of that, right? To kind of build up like a family together. I mean, maybe that's just me, but I don't know. I just like I understand wanting to just have the freedom because I like freedom, but at the same time, it's like, do you really want to just like kind of like cut that aspect out of your life completely? So we love peaceful weekend brunches out, lie-in shopping, evenings out with friends, and trips to art galleries or exhibitions, which we have learned from family members can be a lot more challenging with children involved. Both she and her partner are only 25, and they hope one day to start a family, but they also appreciate why some dinks have no intention of having children. I think it's just really important to consciously take in, recognize, appreciate, and truly enjoy these years of freedom before making such a huge and life changing decision. It's a chance of showing gratitude for these years, living in the moment, and recognizing elements of our life that would drastically change or be compromised so much when and if we do have children in the future. And, like, here's the thing, right? If you stumble upon this, the sad reality about couples doing this, they could do it for a while, but the guy in the relationship, if this is like a guy girl couple, the guy in the relationship can go a lot longer being a dink than the female. They have a lot more freedom to go down that path, right? Biologically speaking. Because they could get a kid, they could produce what it needs to help make a kid a lot longer down in life than the female. The female has like basically almost like a timeline, and that timeline gets shorter as she gets older. So these couples also have to take that into consideration. It's like, okay, if this is something that you want to do for right now, how long do you want to do this for? Do you want to do this for life, or do you want to do this for a couple years and then try having a kid potentially? Because if you're a female and you start getting into like the 30s to 40s, the chances of you having like a healthy kid, like that healthy kid making process, is going to be a lot more difficult. And that's something that people need to factor in too. Because like I understand like wanting to be like free in like the 20s, 30s, and whatnot, but at the same time, you still have to factor that in. Like, how much harder am I going to make it for myself? By the way, how much more expensive am I going to make it for myself if I do want kids later down the line? Because you might end up having to do IVF, you might have to do adoption, and that is going to be a crazy, potentially expensive process. So there are several common themes between all the couples choosing this lifestyle. One of the many creators who in a dink marriage said, "I am a child free. I am a child free. No, I'm child free by choice person, and love my life. I have so much time to dedicate to my hobbies, things that I enjoy, and my siblings' children. I can have a cream sofa and know that it's not going to get dirty, and nothing in my home is sticky. I have plant babies. I have more money to travel with, more time to dedicate to my husband. It's wonderful. She had a double income, no kid lifestyle is fantastic, and I would recommend. There are people like us who enjoy our lives and don't feel the need to have tiny humans. And it's the latest trend to sweep the platform after a slew of economic and lifestyle trends that came before it. And it speaks to changing societal trends and expectations. So look, morning in my life as a married 30-year-old with no kids. Let's see. Stitched with at Cat Vander and Girl Mod. This show. Reasons I love our dink lifestyle. Hold on. Let's do this. Let's see. And again, like, there's nothing wrong technically with going down that choice. You just got to really understand the actual cost of going down that path. Millennials are getting married later in life or foregoing it entirely, while home ownership is also happening at an older age for most people, and birth rates are down. On average, it costs up to €200,000 to raise a child to 18 in the UK, not including luxuries like vacations, gifts, or hobbies. Matt Benfield, a self-titled dinkwad, dual income, no kids, with a dog. Dear Lord. Okay. So from the youth told Business Insider that current generations simply don't have the money to support themselves and much less a child. They can barely afford rent. They can barely afford utilities, like grocery bills are through the roof. This idea of the dinkwad is you have to just look out for yourself first before going for a kid or anything else. Another creator said, "We chose to stay as dinks for the foreseeable future because there are other things we'd like to invest our money in and spend our money on before we have children." Some of the most common reasons to remain dinks are to travel more, to invest in property, to get a higher education, dedicate more time to hobbies, or even something as simple as enjoying nice restaurants without anxiety. Dinks are often the target of marketing efforts for luxury items as trips, as they often have higher disposable incomes, but others say they're using the time as dinks to prepare for the future. One said, "I want kids eventually. This won't be our lives forever, so we're saving and getting ahead now." So here's the thing. I like this type of perspective far more, right? Because there's a lot of people who probably shouldn't have had kids when they had kids, and they basically are financially destroyed because of that, because it was just bad timing. And so they were forced to do things that they really weren't wanting to do to make money, to be able to take care of the kid because they want to be responsible, all that sort of stuff. But if you know that you do want kids in the future, so you're just going to go a period of time where you're not trying to have kids and you're just trying to save up money, invest so that you're financially okay. I think that's a smart choice. Another said, "Welcome to the Dink side of TikTok where we travel with only carry on, go on backpacking adventures, tour wineries, sleep in on weekends, go to the spa, and enjoy a hot coffee while we enjoy our last few years without kids." So Dink couples have also been sharing the pitfalls of the lifestyle too. One woman, an academic and PhD student from the UK, said she struggles with feeling like she shows up more for her friends' successes than they do her own. "I've been in this type of relationship for the last 5 years. Everyone around me has been getting married, having kids, hitting these milestones. We've always turned up for people as baby showers, gender reveals would turn up with a smile and with presents all the time. So we recently had our first milestone, getting engaged, and people with kids really did not turn out for us the way we've been turning out for them the last 5 years. Still, she said the perks of her lifestyle outweigh any cons. She and her partner have had extra time as a couple to truly understand one another's love language. And they've traveled almost all of Europe and have dedicated plenty of time to hobbies and education. And while the Dink trend is rapidly taking off online, there are some doubters who aren't thrilled with the term. You'll have to have a label for everything, one critic said. So, just a normal married couple, another asked. Basically, right? Like, this is pretty much like just a normal married couple that hasn't had a kid yet. But they're purposely trying to not have kids. Let's see, best rated. So if people don't want children, that is their choice. I don't have children and never will have. I don't feel at a loss, and I have all my disposable to spend traveling and enjoying life. Okay, let's see. At who cares? Having kids doesn't mean they will be there to wipe their rear. I didn't wipe the rears of either of my parents. Heck, my dad had kids that didn't even know where he was living. I was the one who had to tell them of our father's death. I don't blame them, such a horrible road to bring children into. I was a dink back in the 80s, then had 3 kids in 3 years. Now I'm 62 and back to doing whatever I want again, while my adult kids enjoy their own lives. The time passes quickly, folks, and then you have people in your life that you love more than anything. Did not know it at the time, but my child turned out to be one of the most brilliant and happy decisions that I made in my life. He is an adult now, and I look at him and I just light up in my heart. Every step of raising him gave me stuff to look back on with funny and happy memories. Kids are the most beautiful part of this miserable, greedy world. Interesting. Feel free to give your thoughts on this. The thing is, this is definitely a personal decision, but with any choice that you make, there's always another side to it. There's always like a cost to it, right? Like, for example, let's say that you were to go and buy a brand new car. Okay, you're going to buy that brand new car, but what's the cost of you buying that car? Well, there's going to be the financial cost of that, but also you're going to be more worried about that car than buying like a pre-owned car because it's brand new. You don't want to get it scratched, all this sort of stuff. But if you had a pre-owned car, you pretty much don't really care about that car at all. You just drive it around, don't care if it's dirty, etc. Right? If you want to have a dog or not have a dog, there's a cost to that. One, if you end up doing having a dog, it takes a lot of time to take care of dogs, takes money to take care of the dog, etc. But if you don't have the dog, then you're not getting basically the enjoyment of spending time with like an animal that loves you more than it loves itself. So it's just something to think about.